Hey everyone, welcome back to more political chatter. This video is about the 2022 Senate elections after the Roe V Wade overturn has been passed. Everyone's positive that it will. Technically hasn't yet, has not gone into effect. Roe v. Wade is still the law of the land. However, it will very, very soon with a Republican-led Supreme Court. So obviously this will affect the Senate elections dramatically, and I will get to that in just a moment. First, I just want to take a moment to look at Star Wars comments. Can you do a governor prediction now that this draft has got leaked? Yeah, I will. I just want to clarify this. So before I did just a quick rundown of seats that could flip, but it was not my final prediction. And I just want to let you know that I will do the governor's prediction, but first I just want to do a full out Senate prediction with the margins, because that's, Roe v. Wade overturned, and its effect on the 2022 midterms really will have a huge effect, and it's something that a lot of people are very interested about right now, are looking at how this will come into play. So polls show that 60% of Americans do approve of Roe v. Wade not being approved as of right now, it not being overturned. They support the law that abortion should be legal in all 50 states. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments saying how this is so dumb, this is such a terrible video, it's still going to be a red wave year, all this, all that. I try not to be unbiased, I really don't. I'm an independent. I see the good and bad on all sides. Yeah, I just want to let you know that don't do a rude comment and, listen to what I have to say. And as I was saying, 60% of Americans do approve of this, and of Roe v. Wade, abortion being legal in all 50 states. And the fact that 60% of Americans approve, that is a good majority that they have, and that is good for the midterms, because this is something that voters care about. I said this in my last video about this, but I really want to get this in your mind. This is something that voters care about. It's really a yes or no issue. You're pro-life or pro-choice for, essentially, you're pro-life or pro-choice. And especially independent women and suburban moms, these are the people that will turn out for Democrats. Suburban moms, basically independent women, but mostly suburban moms. They will turn out for the Democrats in November, because as women, this is something that they care about. The vast majority, I shouldn't say vast majority, but the majority definitely approve of the Roe v. Wade as of right now. And again, they're women, this is what they care about, and they will turn out for the Democratic Party, because this is something that is more important to them than inflation, than rising gas prices, stuff like that. This is more important to them than those little things. So I'm going to get into this prediction right now. Hawaii, California, and Oregon and Washington, I think, would be safe. Democrats will be energized to turn out and vote. And Chuck Schumer is already talking about passing abortion legislation that would, it can't go against the Supreme Court's bill that would overturn Roe v. Wade, but it can help with the Democrats' plan, or, their idea to have abortion legal. It helps with that. And he's already passing this by. So really, the 2022 midterms, a lot of it will be about abortion. In the Ohio Senate primary, by the way, J.D. Vance has just won the Republican nomination for Senate, so that will come into play in the state of Ohio. But anyway, what was I even saying? But yeah, it's already coming into play in the Ohio primary, in the Texas primary. But my point is, and I will, 1 second, get independent on here, but anyway, what I'm saying is that this is something that is huge, and this is something that will be very important in the midterms. So basically, in the Democratic states, Democrats will turn out a whole lot, because there are a lot of Democratic women, undeniably. Going to Alaska, I really see this staying with Lisa Murkowski. She's not very pro-Trump. She's pretty anti-Trump. She voted to impeach Trump, but still, the fact of the matter is that she is a popular senator, and Alaska isn't a completely Trumpian state. So I think that would be likely Republican. Going to Idaho, North Dakota, and South Dakota, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's special. There's nothing going on here. Louisiana, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Alabama. These are all states where it really is not an issue, Roe v. Wade being overturned. At the end of the day, they will stay safe Republican. Going to states like Indiana and Iowa, I'm actually going to make Iowa safe because we do have Chuck Grassley here, and he is a very popular senator. But, going to Indiana, I have a few more safes. So Indiana will be likely. I just say that because it's not as Republican as these other states. But going to states like Kansas and South Carolina. South Carolina went likely for Trump. So did Kansas, actually. But Tim Scott's popular senator in South Carolina. He will win by wide margins. And in Kansas, I don't know. It's going to be safe. I really don't see it. So going to Missouri, I'm going to keep it likely Republican, lean Republican at this point in time, because we do have Eric Greitens, who has a huge scandal surrounding his name about abusing his wife. And if he wins the nomination, this would be a really close race, but he might just be able to pull out a win. So, but the Republicans just should nominate someone else. That'd be their safest bet. But anyway, so just to average it out, I'm really looking forward to the Missouri primary, because then we can make a real projection. But this is just like on average, if you kind of know what I mean, like if Eric Greitens is nominated, or if there's, a traditional Republican, or just, one without a scandal surrounding his name. So Illinois is next. That will be safe Democratic now. Going to Maryland, I really don't see Larry Hogan running. We'll see if he does, but it's day by day, minute by minute, it's getting later into the midterms, and really it does not look like he's running. Going to Connecticut, Richard Blumenthal will win by wide margins. Chuck Schumer is up for re-election. In New York, he'll win by a solid margin. And then going to Vermont, we have Bernie Sanders. We do not have Bernie Sanders. We have Chuck Leahy is retiring, and I don't know who's replacing him, but I believe it's another, just Democrat, and Democrats win in Vermont, except on the governor's level. So I do think that Vermont would be safe. Alright, so now let's get into some likely Democratic states, and I believe there is only one. There's only going to be one. So, not Utah. What am I doing? Alright, so Colorado, I do think, would go to the Democratic Party by a likely margin. Here we have Michael Bennett running for re-election for a third term, I believe. He ran for president. If you run for president and make it to the New Hampshire primary these days, you're a pretty popular senator, and it just shows that. He is a very popular senator in Colorado. He's not as popular as Jared Polis, the governor, but he is a very popular governor, and, Roe v. Wade will definitely take into effect here, but even without it, he would win by a likely margin. Going down to Florida, I don't see Roe v. Wade as much of an issue for Marco Rubio. Here, I honestly think it's going to be a lean margin. It's that or likely. But then again, there are women in every state, suburban women, independent women, and that will be an issue for them, so they might turn out a little more for the Democrats, but at the end of the day, Marco Rubio is popular, and it won't affect his re-election campaign very much. Going on to the state of... We'll get to Utah last. Yeah, let's do Utah last. But anyway, let's go up to New Hampshire. And I do think that Maggie Hassan will hold on by a lean margin. Roe v. Wade definitely will affect this election here, and she will go up in votes, especially saying that she is a woman. She will connect with suburban women. But it is a generally conservative state. It's not like there are a bunch of progressive Democrats in the state of New Hampshire. There simply aren't. It's a pretty moderate state on both sides. They have a moderate Republican governor, and Maggie Hassan is pretty moderate herself, a Democrat, and I think that she will be able to hold on, and Roe v. Wade won't be much of an issue here. She'll win that by a lean margin. And going to Nevada, I think that this would, and I'll do Arizona while we're at it. I think that these two would go Democratic. I'm going to make I'll make Nevada lean still. But anyway, so I do think that these would be lean Democratic states. I mean, these are two states. In Arizona, we have Mark Kelly, the incumbent, running for re-election. And, in both of these states, they are Democrats, and they're up for re-election, and they are pretty popular. We don't really see anyone who's hugely unpopular here. And especially with with Roe V Wade being overturned, both of these Democrats obviously very much disagree with that, and I think that they will be able to hold on. Especially, Nevada, it's a Democratic state. I want to bind by a lean margin, I want to take a lead by a lean margin, but I really want to focus on the state of Arizona, because that one was really contested. It was thought to be very contested in 2022, and of course it still is. So Mark Kelly's up for re-election. He's a Democrat. He will win his party's nomination. But, on the Republican side, it looks like Kari Lake, the Trump-endorsed candidate, will win the Republican nomination. That really will be extremely detrimental to oh my god, I'm sorry, that's governor. Kari Lake is running for governor. I'm sorry, scratch that. But yeah, Mark Kelly, jeez, is she? Why can I not think of this? But anyway, Mark Kelly is the nominee, and ultimately it doesn't matter. It's going to be a Trumpian Republican candidate in Arizona, no matter what it is. Yeah, Kari Lake is for governor, but yeah. So Mark Kelly, I do think, would win in the state of Arizona. All right, so next is Georgia, and Raphael Warnock has been extremely surprising in the polls, and I think that he will hold on by a tilt margin with this new Roe little thingy, and that gives the Democrats 50 seats, so they still do have a majority. But with Kamala Harris, it's a tie-breaking vote. But Georgia, polls have been really favorable towards Raphael Warnock. On the Republican side, it's still pretty divided, and, the whole state hasn't gone behind one candidate. But it looks like Brian Kemp, the unpopular governor, will win the Republican nomination, even though David Perdue, the Trump-backed candidate, is endorsing him. That really means a lot when it comes to whether or not Trump has complete control over the party. But anyway, so Brian Kemp, I don't see him turning out the really, really Trumpian conservatives, because Trump is so anti-Kemp. It will hurt him so much. And I think that Warnock will be able to, oh my god, I'm so dumb. That was governor too. I'm getting mixed up with governor and Senate. I'm sorry. Oh, God. Herschel Walker is the Republican nominee is going to be the Republican nominee for senator. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so it's Herschel Walker versus Warnock. Warnock still has the majority of the African-American vote, we have to remember, even though both are African-American, because he is a Democrat, because he is a liberal. But with this new Roe thing, what was I going to say? With this new Roe thing, Warren will turn out for Warnock as they, as a lot of them would, for Walker. So I will go back to the state of Arizona, because Blake Masters, I just want to mention that Blake Masters is likely going to be the Republican nominee for senator here to match off against, what's his name, Mark Kelly. And, Blake Masters is so anti-Roe vs. Wade. He wants to overturn it so bad. On Twitter, he said, "Bye-bye Roe." And someone retweeted that and said, and just like that, Blake Masters' campaign was over. That actually didn't happen. They're saying it from the future, but it's true, and that will hurt him very, very badly. Going up to North Carolina, this is more of a Republican state than Georgia, and I think that the Republicans will hold on by a tilt margin. I think that this would be pretty close, but I think that the Republicans will pull out a win here. Definitely not, Roe won't be as much as an issue in these southern states because of their conservative roots. In Alabama, there's only one abortion clinic. It's just not very common in the South, and it won't be much of an issue. But saying that Walker was able to win Georgia in 2020, then he will be able to win again with Roe v. Wade being overturned. Going over to Ohio, I do think that J.D. Vance will win. I think that this would be a very close election. Tim Ryan is running an extremely good campaign. I've seen the ads, and the ads are absolutely amazing. They're awesome. It really makes you want to vote for Tim Ryan, no matter you're an independent, Republican, or Democrat. It really does. And jobs are a huge issue in the blue wall, and most people feel that the Democratic Party has, shifted away from being the party of the working class, the party that stood up for the common man. But Tim Ryan really is this kind of savior of the Ohio Democratic Party. They'd be gone without Tim Ryan. But Tim Ryan cares about jobs. And he says it in his ads. He says, I won't ship away jobs to China, and I'll work hard to make sure that doesn't happen. But at the end of the day, Trump had such a grip on Ohio. It's pretty insane that he won it by such wide margins in 2016 and 2020, and how little shifted to the left in 2020. So I do think that J.D. Vance will come out on top in the state of Ohio. Going to Wisconsin, I will give it tilt to Ron Johnson. I think that Ron Johnson will beat Mandela Barnes. Not as much of an issue because of its kind of generally conservative feel here. And I think that Ron Johnson is a popular senator. And he will win re-election. So the last state is Pennsylvania, and I will keep this tilt Democratic. Roe v Wade definitely will affect it here. But as Fetterman, Fetterman is not hugely popular, and I've always had it tilt because I do think that Mehmet Oz will win, and he's anti-Roe v. Wade. He wants to overturn it, and I've always had it in the Democratic column, and I think that Fetterman will only expand his lead in the general election come general election. So the last state is Utah, and I do think that Evan McMullin will win, which is crazy to hear, and I congratulate him. I might be being biased because I absolutely adore Evan McMullin. Just because he is an independent. I love independents. And Evan McMullin, I do think, would win in the state of Utah. This is because, so I did the math on a previous video. If you combine in 2016, so here, I'll give you background. In 2016, Evan McMullin, a conservative, ran as an anti-Trump independent against Trump. He was anti-Trump. Obviously, he was a former Republican, but he shifted towards independent just to stop Trump from winning the state. He hoped to win the state, and then if not that, he was trying to get Hillary Clinton to win the state from taking enough votes from Trump, because Trump is unpopular here. And Trump ended up winning by a solid margin, but the fact of the matter is, if you added Clinton's and McMullin's votes here, it was more than Trump's. And that's insane. But Mike Lee, the senator here, really represents Trump. He basically is Trump, and we can use that again. So Mike Lee, and plus there's a scandal surrounding him inciting, being part of January 6th from, with text messages. And so he is unpopular here. So that's already something. But what's big is that the Utah Democratic Party endorsed Evan McMullin for Senate. I made a video about that. It was breaking news. So Hillary's votes are then added to McMullin. With that, it's enough to win. So this is my final map, and I think that the Democrats will gain a seat. I know this sounds insane, but even with Biden's unpopularity, I think that Roe v. Wade will have enough of an effect to win. By the way, if you do some emoji, like an emoji with slapping your face emoji, or like laughing, crying emoji, because you disagree with me so much and you think it's funny, I'm going to ban you from my channel. Now, you can disagree with me and tell me why you disagree. Say which states you disagree with. Give me a reason. Of course I won't ban you for that. I love to hear new reasons. But if you just do a bunch of emojis in a line, say, I hate you, whatever, I'm going to ban you from my channel. So, anyway, thank you all for watching this video. This was a long one today. Hopefully the thumbnail comes out good, and I will see you all later.